Welcome to the Focus on Greatness podcast with me, Hiram Roche. This podcast, we encourage fathers, husbands, believers, and entrepreneurs to be able to walk into their God-given potential. Hello, everybody. How you doing? And welcome to the Focus on Greatness podcast. I am your host, Hiram Roche, also known as HR. And listen, we're going to continue this March Madness. This is day 3 of our March Madness conversation. And I'm praying that this has been already blessing to you, something that has been helping you, something that is pushing you. And I hope, more importantly, that you have been pushing yourself and you're going after your dream, your goal, and you've kind of like amped it up a little bit for your own self this week, and being able to see what that looks like. So let's go ahead and we're going to dive right in as we continue walking through this book. My first book, Start with the Finish in Mind. I believe it is a manual that helps us to be able to have the structure and the pieces that we need, the tools that we need, that we can be able to put together our goals, our dreams, our visions, and the things that we want to be able to accomplish. And it kind of gives unto us, I would say, a roadmap that helps us to be able to get to the destination that we're trying to get to. Now, we've already hit some major pieces. We started off with number 1, our vision. The last one we dealt with was our mindset. If you have not listened to those, make sure you go back and check those out because it helps you to be able to walk this thing out. And then tonight we are on day 3. Now, I want to be able to hit on something that I believe is still as important in this piece. We need a vision because we need to know where we're going. We need to make sure that we have the right mindset for the vision that we're trying to go after. But here is where we are tonight. I want us to be able to understand that knowing and recognizing your assignment is just as important. So let's go ahead and we're going to dive right in. I want to read Jeremiah, very familiar verse of scripture to some, but Jeremiah chapter 1, verses 5. And this is what it reminds us of something that I believe is vitally important. Jeremiah chapter 1, verses 5 says this: "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou came forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." I'm going to read this one more time and then we'll go in this. It says, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou came forth out of your mom's womb, I sanctified you. And I ordained you a prophet unto the nations." Now, here's where I want to be able to start this conversation that I believe is going to be a dynamic one for us, is recognizing, understanding this. The assignment that we have on our lives. I know you're trying to figure out how this goes. We're gonna break this down together. But the assignment that we have on our lives is something that was given unto us before we got here. Hear what I'm saying? Before you recognized life, before you recognized your parents, before you did your first step, before you said your first word, before any of those major pieces happened in your life, you were created with an assignment. How do we know? Let's read this again. Jeremiah, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew you. And before you came forth, I had already sanctified you. And I had already ordained you to be a prophet unto the nations." So before you got to the place that you were at, Jeremiah, before this conversation, you were already walking in an assignment that you didn't even know was a part of your assignment.
Every journey begins with a single step. But what if you knew exactly where that journey was meant to end? I wrote the book for people like you, people that have dreams, people that have goals, people that want to walk in their own business, create their own legacy, but just don't know where to start. This book is a handbook. It's a bunch of tools that gives you the steps that you'll need to be able to walk into the destiny, the dream, the life that you desire and should have for you. And start with the finish in mind. You'll discover how to redefine your purpose, build on actionable roadmap, and stay focused on the outcome that truly matters. With practical advice, real life stories, and a faith-driven approach, Start with the Finish in Mind will equip you to set clear, purpose-filled objectives, navigate challenges with resilience, and build a legacy that you'll be proud of. Start with the Finish in Mind by Hiram, Roche, your guide to purposeful living and lasting success.
You might not even recognized the importance of everything that you were going through, probably the struggles that you had, the scenarios that you might have been facing, or the journeys that you were on. You don't recognize, Jeremiah, that all of this has been leading you and developing you for the assignment that I've already given you before you were even born. So in this, for both of us, for all of us, as we are listening to this conversation, I need you to recognize that you are already given an assignment. You are not trying to create an assignment. You are not trying to make an assignment. You are already given an assignment. So right now, what we're doing is we are walking in day by day to be able to recognize the assignment, to be able to discover the assignment. But you are not creating an assignment. You're already given one. So now what we want to be able to recognize or see is if we have been already given an assignment, if God has already placed within us this assignment for our journey and for our life, we need to first recognize and understand that the assignment means that we are assigned to a people for a people. I'm going to say it again. That means we are assigned to a people for a people. Hiram, what does this have to do with your book? I'm going to pause because I want to make sure we are on the same page. When we get to be able to understand the vision that you've created and being able to understand the mindset that you need to have, the assignment is important because whatever God has assigned you to do, whoever God has assigned you to, is going to help in the vision and in the dream and the goal that you have for your life. Your assignment is just as important as all the other pieces. You are assigned to a group of individuals. That means everybody is not going to be for you. You're not assigned to everybody. So that means the gift that you have might not touch everybody. That means the dream that you have might not impact everybody. That means the thing that you're trying to create might not be something that impacts everybody. How do I know that? I have this wonderful iPhone in my hand, right? This iPhone is assigned to a certain group of individuals. It's assigned to a certain group of individuals. In this phone is sold literally around the world. But hear this, the people that the phone is assigned to, was created for, are the individuals that take advantage of that phone. There are people out there right now with an Android, a Samsung, a Galaxy, different forms of different phones, from one type of phone to another. But there is a sector of people that are taking advantage of this phone because someone did an assignment. Someone was assigned to be able to talk to, impact this group of individuals with this type of technology. Now, this is his assignment. Your assignment might be or might look differently, but you have a certain group of individuals you're assigned to and assigned for. You're doing something. What God has put in you is not for you. It is for those that you're assigned to. Now, let's walk this out because I want to be able to use as an example a man by the name of Moses. Now, Moses went through a journey in his life, just like me and just like you. We have went through different experiences. We have went through some ups and downs. We have found ourselves walking and going through certain experience, certain things, leaning into certain areas, finding and figuring out certain things about ourselves, certain strengths that we have and certain weaknesses, and finding all of these pieces and being able to develop in certain ways. Understand that every part of your journey has helped you in your assignment. I'm going to say that again. Every part of your journey has helped you in your assignment. Now, I believe, because this is something for me personally, I believe that there are certain things that we have experienced, certain things that we have gone through, certain things, even choices that we have made, good, bad, ugly, whatever those is, all of these things has helped to develop us for the assignment. All of it. Now, there are certain things I feel like that we were supposed to lean into more in certain areas of our lives. There are certain things that we probably should have stayed away from in certain areas of our lives. But whatever those categories of things are, all the things you have went through has helped you in your assignment. It's helping to develop you for the assignment God has on your life. And some of the things that we are afraid to be able to do, some of the things that we might be a little timid to be able to walk in is things that we need to recognize that might be things that are hindering or areas of growth that we need because of the assignment. In this season of my life, I have found myself, I guess you would say, being a little bit more bolder and vocal than I have in times past in my life. I went through a lot of different experiences, and in these experiences, it has forced me, in a sense, to be able to speak up for myself, to be able to say what I need to say and do what I need to do, and in some sense, be able to do it for me. Now, why is all of this a part of my assignment? Because what I'm recognizing is the journey that I'm on and the things that I'm experiencing. The people that God has assigned me to, hear me, are going through some of the same exact things. I get a chance to talk with people that are around me that are walking through the same steps, but they don't have the guidance. They don't have the instructions. They don't know how to be able to communicate where and what they're struggling with and how they want to get over this or how they walk through this or how they get through this. And I've been able to experience some things just like what Moses was able to do when it came to his assignment. Now, in Exodus chapter 3, it pulls up this conversation or this piece about Moses. Now, Moses was a person that had a strong gift on his life. How do I know this? Because the scripture shows that because of this strong gift and assignment that was on his life, the king at the time, the head honcho at the time, was so afraid that he started killing off male babies because he knew that there was a deliverer that was coming. There was word that was released that there was this deliverer that was going to come, and he was going to come through this male child. So the enemy was afraid. So what he started to do is kill off all of these male children. And while he's killing off all of these male children, the scripture says that Moses' mom was able to hide Moses until a certain time. And then the scripture says that then she was able to take Moses and take him into this basket that she created and allowed him to go down this river. And the scripture says he went down this river. He goes down he gets to the palace, picked up by the king's daughter, now being raised in the king's household, learning at a higher space and a higher place, learning on two different spectrums. He's learning how the kings function and the Egyptians' context and knowledge and wisdom and all of the things that they have, but at the same time being able to be taught and instructed by his mother, who is a Hebrew, and being able to give all the guidance and things that she needs on that end. He was literally developed in two separate worlds. But why was that important for his assignment? Because when it was time for him to walk as the deliverer, when it was time for him to come and rescue and deliver God's people out of the hand of bondage. He needed to know how to communicate to Egyptians. How best to be able to know that if you were raised with one. He was raised in this space. So all of these different things that he went through, all of these different things that he went up and down in, and the spaces of things that he went through in his life, all was helpful in his assignment. Now, here's the conversation sometimes that we ask ourselves, or that we struggle with, is how do I recognize the assignment? How do I recognize this context on my life, this assignment that you said that I have, Hiram? Well, when we look at Moses' life, there's a moment in Moses' life where Moses gets to a point. Now, he was not always at this point, so hear me. Moses gets to a point in his life where he's watching an Egyptian beat a Hebrew slave. And Moses gets so angry at this Egyptian beating this Hebrew slave that he goes and defends the Hebrew slave against this Egyptian. And he does it to the point where the scripture says that he ends up killing the Egyptian. But why? Why now in your life? Why now in this moment? Now this anger, this resentment, this feeling that you have of wanting to protect the Hebrews. Why did this come up now? Why in this moment now in his life? Because it was a part of his assignment. There was just things that he was developing and places that he had to go through and things that he had to walk through to be able to walk in the assignment. So there are things, struggles, problems, issues, anger points, frustrations that help you in your assignment, that help you to recognize the assignment that's sitting in your life. Now, let's look at this. Let's look at some clues that will help us. In Proverbs chapter 18, verses 16, it says this: a man's gift makes room for him and bringeth him before great men. Let me ask you a question. What's your gift? What are you gifted as? Now, this is what I mean by a gift. What is something that you do easy that others have to learn how to do? What is something you do naturally that others have to be taught how to do it? That's your gift. Your gift makes room for you. It opens up doors of opportunity. Hear this, it's your gift. Your gift opens doors, gets you into spaces to help you with the assignment. I'm going to say it again. Your gift opens doors, gets you before men. Let's read the scripture again. Proverbs 18 and 16. A man's gift makes room for him. Your gift makes room for you. Your gift makes the room for you and brings you before great men. Your gift does that to help you get into the space for your assignment. Your gift is not your assignment, because your assignment is who you're assigned to. Like, back in school when you were kids, you had what is considered as assigned seats. Meaning, this was the seat that was assigned to your name. This was the seat you sat in every week, every day when you went into school. This was your assigned seat. Meaning, this person is assigned for this section, this seat. It's a specific space, it's a specific thing for a specific person. You are an assignment. And your gift gets you into spaces that help you work in your assignment. All right, let's keep going. So the first thing that I want you to recognize is your gift is assigned of your assignment. It helps you. What doors does your gift get you in? What spaces do it do? Does it walk you in? How does your gift open up conversation? How does your gift get you in certain spaces? Like for me, for example, one of the contexts for my gift, right, is being able to have this conversation of being, this context of being able to talk. I can communicate. I have a heart for people. So my compassion for people, that heart that I have for people opens up stuff, opens up conversation, opens up in certain relationships, opens up certain door opportunities. This is a certain part of my gift, right, that I function in. This gift opens up the space for me to work in my assignment. What is my assignment? I am assigned to help restore people to where God assigned them to be. That's a part of my assignment. I help build people. I cannot build you if I don't get into a certain space with you. And what gets me into that space? My compassion, my heart, the way that I communicate, the way that I treat people. It's a part of my gifting that helps me to get into the space where I can do what I'm assigned to do. Okay, let me keep going. Genesis chapter 37 through chapter 50 talks about a man by the name of Joseph. I'm almost done. Talks about a man by the name of Joseph. Joseph goes through so much up and down struggles, where he was in jail, he was a slave, he was basically put as an abandoned person by his brothers. He was treated a certain type of way. He was lied on. He was all of these things. Every single place that Joseph went, the scripture says that he was going through some stuff, but the scripture says, but the Lord was with him. He went through what he needed to go through. He went through all of those pieces, all of those struggles, all of those pain points. But here's the thing. Here's the next point. His struggle prepared him for the assignment. If he did not go through the struggles that he went through, he would not be in the place that he was in. His struggle prepared him for the assignment. The scripture says Joseph makes this statement to his brothers. What you thought was evil, what you prepared for evil, what you tried to do wrong to me, the Lord made sure that it worked for my good. Y'all thought y'all was setting me up, but I needed to go through the struggle because I needed to go before you so I can do my assignment. Yes, the struggle don't feel good. Yes, I don't like the way that it makes me feel, but it develops me for my assignment. And my assignment is to a specific people and for a specific thing. That's my assignment. I'm assigned to you. So there are things that God has to be able to work within me, develop in me, strengthen me, so that I can walk in my assignment. So here is some practical keys that I want to be able to help us with. I want you to write down 3 things that you do well. Okay? I want you to write down 3 things that you do well. Now, these things can be, again, these are things that you do well, that you do naturally. Okay? I want you to write down 3 things that you do well, and I want you to list 2 struggles that has shaped you. What are some things that you have went through that has shaped you into the person that you are today? But I only want you to write down 2. These pieces, again, help you to recognize the assignment. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write down 3 things that you do well. Then I want you to write down 2 struggles that has shaped you. And then the last thing is I want you to identify 1 problem you feel that you're passionate to solve. Okay, I'm going to read that again. I want you to identify 1 problem you feel passionate about solving. Now, for example, you can have a person that walks into a space and they get frustrated because it's unorganized. You can have another person that walks into the same space and they don't even see that. That's not even a struggle for them. That's not even something that they're passionate of fixing, because they don't even see that that's a problem. They might have a problem with customer service, how people treat other people. So when they're looking into these spaces, The problem that they see that they would solve is how to be able to have good customer service. Someone else that walks in sees the structure that needs to be fixed because that's the problem that they would solve. So again, number one, I want you to write down 3 things that you do well. Number 2, I want you to list 2 struggles that have shaped you. And then the last thing I want you to do is I want you to identify one problem you feel passionate about solving. Now, this is I believe is the help in this context. Once we start recognizing this and we start seeing this, we start seeing the assignment God has on our life, the assignment that He put within us. Now I can start focusing my goals, my dreams, the vision that He showed me, the mindset that I have. I'm now starting to think of things of how I can be able to walk in my assignment. And this is important when we're going through the steps of being able to start with the finish in mind. I need us to recognize the assignment. Vision is wonderful. Mindset is great, but you have to understand your assignment. I love you all, family, and I'll talk to you next time. Let's walk in this together. Bye-bye.